Hi children, welcome back to our English class. Today we are going to learn the biography of Stephen Hawking. In the previous class we learned a brief summary of the quest for the theory of everything. Quest means search, his search for the theory of everything. In the fourth paragraph, Kitty Gale Ferguson explains the childhood days of Stephen Hawking. Stephen William Hawking was born on 8 January 1942 in Oxford, England. It was exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo, the father of modern science. We all know that. Frank and Isabel Hawking, Stephen's parents, were not wealthy, but they believed in the value of education. So they planned for Stephen to go to Westminster, a famous public school in the heart of London. Unfortunately, Stephen was ill at the time of scholarship examination for Westminster. Therefore, he attended the local St. Albans school. By the time he was 8, he was thinking seriously about becoming a scientist. Frank Hawking encouraged his son to follow him into medicine. But Stephen found biology too imprecise. He was not interested in studying biology. Imprecise means inexact, or he was not interested. He wanted a subject in which he could look for exact answers and get to the root of things. Young Stephen was not prodigy. No, prodigy means he is not brilliant. He was just an ordinary English schoolboy, slow in learning to read, his handwriting the despair of his teachers. He was ranked no more than halfway up in his class. Though he now says in his own defense, it was a very bright class. Young Stephen was an average student. For his own defense, he is telling that it was a very bright class, so he couldn't get the top mark, just like you. At 14, Stephen knew that he would pursue mathematics and physics. His father called this impractical, for there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Moreover, he wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford offered no mathematics. He followed his father's advice and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics in preparation for the entrance into Oxford. He did well in physics and the interview was brilliantly accepted. He got high marks in physics, so he got admission in Oxford. In 1959, at the age of 17, Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and to specialize in physics. He joined University College, his father's college and the oldest at Oxford, founded in 1249 AD. Nevertheless, for about a year and a half, Hawking was lonely and bored. Nevertheless, it is a cohesive device, means in spite of, showing contrast. He was not inspired to relieve his boredom by exerting himself academically, but halfway through his second year, he began enjoying Oxford. In the first year, he felt alone and bored. That time, he don't want to achieve good marks academically. But halfway of his second year, he began enjoying Oxford. He became popular and well accepted among his peers, people of same age. They remember him as lively, buoyant, and adaptable. He wore his hair long, was famous for his wit, liked classical music and science fiction, and took part in sports. This all was the opinion of Hawking's peers at Oxford. However, at the end of the third year, Hawking almost floundered. He was very clumsy. He struggled a lot. He selected theoretical physics as his specialty. He had then applied to do a PhD at Cambridge and was accepted on condition that he got a first from Oxford. Hawking was confident that he could get through successfully. But as the examination day approached, his confidence failed. Hawking ended up disastrously on the borderline between a first and a second. He got only a borderline first. Faced with a borderline result, the examiners summoned Hawking. The examiners called Hawking for an interview and questioned him about his future plans. In spite of the tenseness of the situation, Hawking managed to come up with the kind of remark for which he was famous among his friends. How he was famous among his friends? Yes, he was famous among his friends for his wit. If I get a first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford. So I expect that you will give me a first. He got his first and he went to Cambridge. This statement is showing his humorous nature or sharp witted nature. His first year at Cambridge was worse than that at Oxford. His slipshod mathematical background caught up with him, and he found general relativity extremely tough. His first year at Cambridge was worse than that of Oxford. His slipshod mathematical background. He is careless or he have only a very little knowledge in mathematics. The mathematics and geometry are integral parts of general relativity. So he found it very difficult to understand. Another far more disastrous problem arose then. During his third year at Oxford, Hawking started getting clumsy. He had fallen once or twice for no apparent reason. The following autumn at Cambridge, he had trouble tying his shoes and sometimes he had difficulty talking. During his third year, Hawking became very weak and he had fallen once or twice without any reason. And he had trouble in tying his shoes and he had difficulty in talking. Shortly after his 21st birthday in 1963, Hawking contracted a rare disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, for which there was no known cure. It caused a gradual disintegration of the nerve cells in the spinal cord and the brain. At first, he went into a deep depression. He did not know what he ought to do or what his future would be like. After his 21st birthday, he was affected with a rare disease, ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It is a nervous system disease that weakens muscles and impacts physical function. In this disease, nerve cells break down, disintegrate, which reduces functionality in the muscles that they supply. By knowing about the disease, he became very depressed and he don't know what to do and what his future will become. Okay, children, that's all for today. I hope you understood. We can discuss the remaining portion in the next class. Thank you.